Okay, okay, so I was looking at Showtime Studio in Your Face on YouTube, their interviews. I just came across it and I found it really interesting on how they conducted their interviews. And so yeah, I just wrote some analysis on it and thought how it could help me with my um, documentary trailer. So yeah, these are just my annotations I'm going to read from it. Um, so yeah, they have a confrontational style in the interview, where the camera is right in the face of the interviewee, making them feel in your faces, well, in our faces, where they're asked controversial questions and just questions about their life and what they've said before, and just around their area of expertise. They section the screen to a portrait style in a black and white format, with black borders. With the person being so close to the screen, they are asked questions, and with their replies, it makes the dialogue much more. It makes it much more engaging, and and intensive, and it's much more meaningful um, by what's being said. The subjects come from a world of arts, fashion, maybe music, and general celebrities, and this makes each interview unique by having their own eventful lifestyles being questioned, and what they said before, and just stuff in the future as well. The use of the portrait enables, well, it sort of instigates alienation, so it makes a person alienated from the rest of the world. Um, we are now having the opportunity to find out all the information about that person without anything else interrupting us or interrupting them, because it makes it much more heartfelt and much more intense. Um, I really like how they chosen to capture the interviewees in a portrait style, a very close view. So it makes them feel comfortable, as I said, and it makes you sort of move yourself back from the screen. With every interview in black and white, you lose all characteristics from the person, making what they're saying important, on how you end up looking at them as a person. The mission of space causes an emotional pull and helps you visualize what they're saying to great effect. By Showtime using a headshot, your focus is on them, and provides us the knowledge the questions asked, um, and what they will relate, and how they will relate to them, even if they don't exactly involve them. So, um, with ASAP Rocky's one, he was asked about Black Lives Matter because he hadn't really dug into it before. I really like, well, as I just said about ASAP Rocky, I really like his Showtime in Your Face interview. His movement caused great indication of him possibly feeling uncomfortable or enjoyment of having this opportunity to speak with them. Him moving, um, I mean, nearly completely out of the frame at times, made him much more interesting. Um, it made him much more interesting in his answers, because sometimes you couldn't fully see his face. Um, the personalization of the questions add to him smoking at the same time, and it produced a nice effect. So I think it was one of the first things we actually saw with him just blow the smoke into the screen. Um, but yeah, with him moving out of the frame, I think it's quite nice because it does show an uncomfortable nature that's occurring at that time, and that maybe he generally can't stay still as much as a person to just be exactly in the frame. The addition of the grill and the gold teeth, I believe, draws people in, um, due to the light that comes off it, catching your eye. We're looking slightly up towards ASAP Rocky, showing his dominance and that he's a leader in the generation of today's fashion. He's also seen as one of the men who is associated with drugs. So when you think of drugs, he's one of the names that comes into mind. So there's also people like Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg as well. These are many people in the music industry. Um, we hear further on this when he's talking about not being orderly in society, but he doesn't mind that. But I guess that's all goes inside with his music and his fashion as well. But he does mainly talk about his fashion in this interview and not much of the music, because in recent years he's dedicated more time into the fashion. Um, the low angle shot makes us eager into what he's saying, and the darkness of the footage creates a deeper and filtered interview as well. Um, so the background is dark, and it makes it much more intensive, and makes us feel like we're with his thoughts as well. And by it being so close, and by us not seeing anything else, it makes us feel like we're just behind the camera, and that we're probably asking him the questions. The pauses he gives and the look he produces are really enticing, and are actual feelings expressing his annoyance with the some of the typical questions that are asked about that are asked towards him. Um, so there was one question when he was asked about Donald Trump, and you could tell he was annoyed by what he then went on to say, and just the look he was given. Um, we see him deflect from the question about love, showing how he's sensitive about that subject, and him not even giving eye contact as well shows that he doesn't want to talk about it, because it's something he doesn't want to go into, and doesn't I guess he doesn't want to reveal his whole life to the world. So that's a way of him just holding back. Um, I like how they eliminated everything from the frame, and having only the person being seen makes it much more engaging to watch and meaningful. We're focused on we're focused to watch them by how close the camera is, and by having a personal interest in ASAP Rocky. I was much more intrigued into the interview. I loved how he was constantly moving in the chair, um, moving it out of the screen, but potentially not deliberately, but because he may have, as I said before, felt comfortable about the questions. Um, he did have like a sort of glazed look in his eye, but I don't think that was maybe just due to the colouring and it being black and white. But like he was kind of squinting a bit, and he had sort of a glazed look, but that was probably due to him smoking. So it adds to the perception we have of him that he's, well, I guess always on drugs in a way, and that did sort of correlate with some of the answers, and just his general tone in his voice being sort of strained and croaky. Um, I want to use this format in my trailer. That's only because it wouldn't fit into the general construction of the frame that I'm planning to go with. Um, because I'm going for a landscape view, obviously. So, and then I feel that would be too out of the ordinary to have a portrait style. In addition, this style I feel is much more of a slow in depth, deep process, which wouldn't go well with the fast-paced trailer I was hoping for. However, I was looking to have a close-up scene of Jordan when the trailer turns into a deeper feel of focusing on some of the negativity. So looking at this can help me construct in my own way of how close I could be towards him, and what I may show around him if there's nothing around him or if there's a lot around him. Looking at the questions asked, it has definitely helped me think about the questions I could ask to Jordan um, about performing, his life away from music, looking into the future with music and other areas as well, people he's worked with that have helped him, or how he's helped people, his inspiration, and other sectors in his life as well. It also um, it also can have me. It can also help me have varied reactions um, and comments that aren't the same, so it's much more interesting. So if I had the same type of based questions or the same answers occurring, it then wouldn't be that interesting for them me to construct into my trailer, because it would just seem like it's always the same. So having it varied, like in this in ASAP Rocky's interview, and it's much more interesting and engaging. I felt some of the answers that he did give ASAP Rocky, they weren't that great and they were kind of bland and didn't add to our perception of ASAP Rocky. Seeing this it made me make sure it's making me make sure that the answers provided are good enough and powerful to stand out by itself and not being looked past at and just forgotten about. But yeah, that's what that was just my thought on the Showtime in your face interview and how I think it. Well, I just generally like to know. Just looking at how it gonna help me, and I think it can help me with my trailer.